We welcome you one more time for another visit to the Mind Spa. Mind, consciousness, the ultimate frontier where it all begins, where it resides. Spa, that which removes toxins, energizes, revitalizes. So there's a constant process of renewal being afforded. Today we ask the question, why is it so hard to change? Individuals, companies, communities, nations oftentimes set out to do this thing called change. But easier said than done. Easier said than done. Why is it so? Well, I want to share some of the insights with you to explain as to why. So maybe it may allow you to see some ways that you could go about doing it a little differently. Charles Darwin is the one that reminded us that it's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. So we see that it's imperative that we be able to change if we are to survive. Now, what if this question was posed, change or die? Hmm? You're given that choice. You think it's that easy? It seems like a silly question, but guess what? This question would not be one that a lot of people would survive. Why do I say that? The odds are 9 to 1 against people changing. So if you have to bet, will change take place or not? 9 to 1. Not very good odds. Now, how do we arrive at this? For the last 50 years, we have inconsistent data which has helped us to understand that 80% of healthcare budget is consumed by 5 behavioral issues. What are they? Yep. Smoking, drinking, eating, stress, and the critical one, not enough exercise. We know this. We've been telling people this for the last 50 years, but it hasn't really seeped in. Let's take the United States, for example. More than 868,000 Americans die on the average from heart disease and stroke. One third of all deaths. What does this cost the nation? Over $200 billion. More than 138 billion in lost productivity on the job. If this issue could be resolved, could be reduced. But no, oftentimes when somebody has a heart attack, taken to the hospital, there's a procedure. But within months, the procedure is overridden by the behavior that has not changed. People are exactly back where they started. Right? 9 to 1. 2 years after coronary artery bypass, 90% of the people who have gone through this, what would be a life changing activity, have not changed their lifestyle. So they end up right back where they started or dead 2 years after. Now, there is a powerful resistance to change because by the time we're about age 35, 80% of what you do on a daily basis is based on habit. You can drive your car from home to work almost on autopilot without even consciously being aware when you make various changes. It is said about 60,000 thoughts pass through your mind each day. The only problem is it's the same thoughts going through again and again and again. Now, there's a developmental aspect of this, because the mind is able to do so many things on autopilot. It frees you up from having to think about how to brush your teeth, how to walk, how to, huh? But so many things are put in that space. Hmm? So it's important that we find a way to give our brain reasons to grow new neural pathways. Again, those same 60,000 thoughts being again and again repeated, repeated. So you have to find a way to override it. Miguel Martin, morning. Hmm? Thanks for your feedback, my brother. Thanks for your feedback. Now, what do we do? Oh, I want to summarize it now. What is it that makes it so hard? You see, the first one, fear of the unknown. When people are faced with change, many are uncertain about what future lies ahead. And this is scary. So they listen, let me stick with the evil I know. Lack of control. Change often involves a loss of control, which can be unsettling. You're used to doing it. You're used to doing it. But then now, to stop, you have to learn all over again. Comfort with the familiar. Hmm? People tend to feel most comfortable with what is familiar, and it makes them uncomfortable to move out of the comfort zone. Probably many people, even watching this now, are in a bad relationship. Hmm? But you stick to the evil you know. Hmm? Neither one, that classic song, neither one of us want to be the one to say goodbye. Limited resources. Change often requires time, energy, and other resources that are not necessarily available. Not to mention even money. I have no money. I want to move out, but I can't afford to be on my own. Personal values. Change may conflict the individual personal values and beliefs, making them difficult to adapt. Yeah, you believe that the marriage should last forever, even though when you said till death do us part, it doesn't necessarily mean till one of you die. It means till the death of the relationship. The relationship is dead. So maybe it's time to bury it and move on. Hmm? Resistance to change. Sometimes people may be resistant to change because they're afraid of failing or because they're attached to the way things currently are. And habits and routine. People often develop habits and routine that they are comfortable with, and change can be difficult because it requires breaking those patterns. So we see overall, change can be difficult because it requires us to adjust to new circumstances. Involves stepping outside of your comfort zone. But guess what? Growth, development lies one step outside your comfort zone. And everything in our being is preventing us from changing. The status quo, maintaining things that are used to. So that we have to make a conscious decision, deal with the immediate uncertainty, the immediate pain, the immediate discomfort, and move it from that autopilot, move it into that thing called change. It is possible, it is necessary, it is not easy, but yes, it is hard, but it can be done. Are you changing? Are you change adaptive? Will you make the necessary changes take place in your life today? You can. You most certainly can.